Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the round 18 pre-lockout discussion. There was no Thursday night game, so I thought I would hop back on, run through any changes, and I don't think I'm going to do any changes. I think it's good, just lock it in, baby. Lock it in, Eddie. We don't want to, it's not a good habit. Obviously, pre-season, you're going to be changing your team constantly, but there's always going to be good options, right? You could mull over 2 or 3 different center wings or second rowers all week, right? And at the end of the day, it's random. Like, one of them could score a try, one of them may not. It's just, you just got to go with your gut. You got to go with your gut. There's no point keep flip-flopping around. So I feel pretty locked in. The Nwangani Tawaze trade in, I really like. I feel like he's primed to go big in the back end. He may not, but he's got good base. I mean, the base is okay. It's just that he's got the tackle busting, the offloading, which is always the high upside for Supercoach. Sammy Walker will be back in a couple of weeks. I think that's only good for the wingers. Like, Sammy Walker loves a cutout ball. He loves hitting his wingers with the big up and over. So I feel good about Nwangani Tawaze. Obviously, he's playing centre this week, but going forward, he will move back to the wing. So yeah, I feel good about that. Trading out of Zarko, it feels a little weird to trade out of Zarko. He's been going well, but again, I do think the Dolphins are going to hit a wall, right? Not that their draw's been really lucky or anything, but they've had a good run. I mean, a couple of tough games here. Warriors, Doggies. Herbie still scored incredible. Can we just look at Herbie's scoring for a second? Looking at his actual scores the whole season just shows how fucking elite this is. I don't think I've ever seen a more elite center wing scoring for the season, right? Like, this is unreal. I'm trying, like, what other center winger has scored this well throughout and played like every game on top of it? Probably, I mean, you'd look at Kiraz, but like 65, 58, 85, 69, 55, 78, 98, 72, 78, 84, 93, 71, 105, 150, 106, 86. What is happening? Yeah, wow. What did he start at? Yeah, he started expensive, but he's made almost 200k. So, yeah, great. But yeah, they've had a good run. Obviously, Herbie's elite, doesn't matter. But someone like a Zarko, they've been putting like 40, 50 points on teams, right? Now, granted, their attack is humming, but one, Nikorima is now out, which is another huge omission. They're missing so many starting and honestly elite forwards. I just feel like it's going to catch up with them at some point. Like, they versed the Dragons, Cowboys, Newcastle, and the Bunnies. 4 pretty mediocre teams. I know the Knights' defense has been good, surprisingly, even though they suck. But yeah, a pretty good run. Then they have the bye. Then 19 against the Sharks, which I know, the Sharks have been poor, but we all know the Sharks they feed on the weaker teams. And the Dolphins have been great, but they are missing a stack of players. The Cowboys is a great matchup, then another bye. Then the Warriors in New Zealand, Roosters, Broncos, and then 3 good games to finish, or 2 good games, and then the Raiders. But I think the Azarko trade out I think it's good. He's peaked at 700k. Sure, he's eventually going to get a couple of tries. They are going to eventually hit his wing, but that's the problem. They hit the left way more often. It may change with Nikorima out, potentially, but regardless, they still go left a lot more often. Azarko's main points have been coming through goal kicks, and they're not going to keep scoring 40 to 50 points. It's just not going to happen. So I like the Nwayanitawaze. I hadn't had a problem with his name, but that I couldn't grasp it then. But yeah, I feel good about it. He's got a really good run coming up. The Roosters have played all their buys, I think. 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they played all their buys. Few good matchups, couple of tough ones littered in there, but it's overall, I'd say, a pretty good run. Couple against a Storm, a bit nasty, but, you know, Sharks and Dogs, but then the rest of it's very good. So, yeah, I like the Nwayanitawaze play. The Hughes, like, I'm still not sold on it, but I'm just going to lock it in. I like I said, my reasoning, just anything can happen, you know. Anything could happen. Hines coming out, not Hines, probably Cleary. He is carrying a bit of a niggle. Could flare up all of a sudden. Like, that's the reason I'd be holding Metcalf, right? I'd hold Metcalf and just trade Metcalf straight to Cleary, but you never know. He could miss a couple extra games, and then it's like, oh man, if I had Hughes. I just think get in Hughes, and then we worry about getting Cleary in to decide what we're going to do after that point. I still think it's probably just trading Hughes back to Cleary, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. And then the Kane Bradley one. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking about this, and I was starting to think maybe bring in, instead of Bradley, because again, I don't need the points. I don't need the points this week. Granted, he could score well. He could score a hat-trick and go big, and it would be a good number for you. Obviously, the Storm taking on a very weak Cowboys team. Obviously, the Storm missing a bunch of players as well, but you know, at the end of the day, he's a winger. He could score a couple of tries and go big. So that is the benefit. He is a centre wing dual. He'll drop out. It is a nice makeshift nuff, basically. However, I was thinking, instead of going Bradley, could you going the dual second row forward hooker nuff? Now, my reasoning was that if I did that, potentially I would save a trade, but does that work? I mean, it does work, but would it actually save a trade? Because at that point, I would then trade one of my dummy halves. Well, actually, no. The reason it would save a trade is because, like, next week, for instance, I was probably going to go straight from Hosking to, honestly, Angus Crichton was probably going to be the go, right? I was probably going to go straight to Crichton next week if Crichton backed up. Well, there could be another back row, but that was probably the plan. Trading out Hosking, going to Crichton, love it, right? However, if I did going, he was my nuff and he was a dual. Next week, instead of trading out Hosking, because he's not an urgent trade out. The Raiders, they don't play next week anyway, but they have a really good run. Like, they have a pretty good few weeks. Obviously, I don't love Hosking just with, like, Hudson Young. The rotation's pretty scuffed, but you know, if he could find some attack, like, all of a sudden, and he still is probably a trade out at some point, but it's not urgent, that's the thing. It's probably more urgent to trade our dummy halves than it is Hosking, if we're being honest. So, at that point next week, I could probably trade, I guess depending what happens, hopefully Walker's a couple of weeks away still, because then I could trade Mamazulis to, you know, Angus Crichton. Hopefully, that would be the ideal. Swing going up into dummy half, so that would be the trade done there. We didn't use an extra trade to nuff out the dummy half. We already had the dummy half nuff going, and we were always going to trade in a back rower. Well, all things going to plan. And then when Sam Walker comes back and Sandon Smith goes back to the bench, then we just trade Sandon Smith straight to Harry Grant / Connor Watson, whoever we're feeling so inclined to go to. I sort of feel like that potentially is the play. Because that is the thing. I don't need the numbers. I don't need the numbers for this week. Does it make more sense to do that? There is the only reason I'm not doing it at the moment is just, like, Bradley could score big. Like, he's obviously not like a super scorer. Like, I think he scored 2 tries for his 56, both off kicks though. But you never know. He could score big, and then it would be a really good number for this week. And if things were catastrophic next week, he could be a good number as well for next week. But it does sort of save a trade going this week. I just and you know what? But then at that point, you could just nuff out Mamazoulis this week to going, save the rigmarole, and keep Hubner. Because Hubner is starting, which I don't necessarily think changes too much. It sort of comes down to who do I think is going to score better, Hubner or Mamazoulis this week, because I think they both got like 70 break evens, if I'm not mistaken. Where is Hubner? Unfortunately dropped a bit of cash. I think he's got a 60 break even. Mamazoulis, I think 70. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. Like, he's like 20k more. There's not much difference. It's not that big a fucking deal either or. I just I don't know. It would have been fucking great if Mamazoulis was starting. If he was just starting this week, if there's like a late switch again, it would be lovely if he could play just big minutes this week to not drop a lot of cash. But I don't know. Is it worth doing that? I'm probably spending way too much time on such like a meaningless difference, but it could prove like pretty important, but not necessarily. So let's just check, when is Sam Walker? Obviously this isn't gonna be like exactly accurate, but we can at least see what they are saying. Expected back around 20, so should be getting another week out of Sandon Smith before we have to trade, which is perfect because I'd rather not have to bring in Connor Watson or Harry Grant after Origin. I would rather bring them in around 20 if we could, obviously, if it works. But you know, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I'm gonna mull it over more. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world if I go with it, but if I go with going, yeah, it could just save us a trade in the long run, which could be. It definitely could be handy for sure. And then we still have the option to nuff out a centre wing at some point if we wanted to get some more cash. Because again, I don't think we don't necessarily need 7 playable centre wingers, but we'll see what happens. I'll leave it like this. I'll just decide what I might just go with the going play, and then I have to, if I'm doing that, I then have to decide if we're just going to nuff out who's going to score more, Mamazoulis or fucking Hubner, who's starting. I don't know. I don't know. He is starting, but are the minutes going to be any good for Hubner? he's a bit all over the shop. I don't know, but let's go on. The other big important factor here: vice captain, captains. Now, it is important, but I gotta be honest. I think I'm gonna do just the basic vice captain, captain. I mean, obviously bringing in Hughes, it does add a little buffer to vice captain Hughes, but the problem is, well, not so much a problem, but I do think, and it is just true, that Hughes is very good and he can go very big, but he can't go massive, right? He doesn't have those massive scores. Like he can carve up. He carved up against the Cowboys, 136. That's like getting to his top, right? I'm sure he's had a bigger score, but that's hitting his top. He has got a 187 against the Bronx, apparently. I don't know when that was, but and 150. But yeah, he's less likely to have that massive game because it's a lot of try assists off kicks. He doesn't have the goal kicking, that sort of thing, right? So he's a very good vice captain, but Pappenhausen is just, I think he's just the better vice captain. Obviously, you look at form and everything, and you're like, no shot. Like, he's been pretty poor. The scores haven't been anywhere near as good, but he's already showed he's already got a 130. He had a 136, and he's also got that 180 in him already this year. So, I think it's worth it to take the punt on Pappenhausen, because we then have Tedesco as captain, because it's going to have to be a pretty big vice captain score, I think, to loop. I mean, granted, I'll probably still loop if it's like 100, but there will be a nagging feeling of like, Tedesco up against his old club, the Tigers. He loves playing them. Tigers in all sorts. Like it feels like a big game for Tedesco loading. That's why I would rather put the vice captain on Pappenhausen. You feel like he's either going to go huge or it could be a bit of a dud score. So that's what I'll take. And then obviously captain Tedesco. I did hear like there was a fun little, well, not a fun little strategy, but a little thing of like vice captaining Tedesco, just because you get the free loop with Tedesco if he goes well. Everybody's going to captain Tedesco, right? You do miss out on the potential, and that's the biggest issue. You miss out on the potential massive score of Hughes / Pappenhausen. But if they both don't go huge, maybe they go 80, 90, still really good, but you're probably not going to loop that with Tedesco. Everybody will captain Tedesco, and then all of a sudden something happens. He gets injured, he gets knocked out, or just has a bad game. Everybody's stuck with that captaincy. You can then take a punt on like a Garrick or Lehigh, Hopewade. I'm not going to do it because I don't really love the captaincy on like a Garrick anyway on the left wing. But it's a little strategy you could do. But yeah, I'm going to go very basic with the Pappenhausen into Tedesco. It's one of those weeks. I think you just lock and load. We've already gone through the numbers. We're loaded up with numbers. So hopefully, I mean, this is where you sort of want a couple of low scores, where it's like, okay, if it was good, we had a couple of players to cover. I know in the past, like last year especially, and I didn't do this on purpose to have a heap of numbers for this round. It just the way it worked out. Honestly, just the way it worked out that it's just an easy buy round to sort of target for also looking for the future. But last year especially, went pretty hard in the buy rounds, and they were shockers. Like we had I think multiple weeks, 15, 16 players, and like your 4 lowest scores were all 30, 40. So yeah, you got these scores dropped out, but then the guys that replaced them scored 5 points more, or 10 points. So I was like, okay, that wasn't worth it at all. That's what happened, but we'll see. Hopefully there's some variance. Looking at the popular trade-ins, so people trading out Hines, I don't particularly like the trade out of Hines. Dylan Lucas. What the hell? Some of these are a bit wild. So I don't like the trade out of Hines. I still think, like, I've talked about it, but the Hines Hughes play, Hines is literally still averaging more than Hughes, and Hines has a much better run home. I still think I much prefer Hines over Hughes, just as a Supercoach option. He's been pretty poor, but, like, he's still averaging 70 points. Like, I don't know. I would be keeping Hines. I mean, we just look at their run home coming up. You've got Dolphins next week, Roosters, tough, but then Rabbits, Cowboys, Dragons, Gold Coast, Newcastle Dogs to finish, tough, but man, there are some good games thrown in there, and the Sharks do love to put on points against weaker teams, so expect some. Dylan Lucas, again, it's not like a lot of people trading out, like 1,500, only 1%, but why on earth are people trading Dylan Lucas? This one I don't understand at all. Like, who are they? Surely they've got someone else. Like, obviously Preston is a popular trade in, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one there. Moreni Horoti, I mean, I get it. I get it if you're going down to, I mean, you could be going down to a what's his face? Bradley. People are going to Jed Stewart. People aren't going to Bradley, which is, I thought Bradley would be higher. Actually, no, I guess this doesn't show. This only shows not in my team, so Bradley probably is higher, and Hughes are probably higher as well. Campbell trading out. I mean, again, if you've held Campbell, I don't know why you trade out now. You just hold him. And then Billy Smith, again, like, he is a guy you could trade out. Like, he's a good number, but it is the same case as last year where, yeah, he might score 30, 40, and it's like, well, there was no point in holding him, but he's got a bit more money to make, so it is what it is. Jed Stewart, so a lot of people are bringing in Jed Stewart, which, I mean, sure, like, I don't like it, and I've seen a bit of this, that quite a few people, like, in the content space also don't like it, and I agree. I agree with the sentiment of other people that are saying it. The masses, I just don't like it. Like, he's probably not going to drop out. That's the biggest problem, right? That's why Kane Bradley is so good. Granted, Bradley is like 30k more, but fucking it's 30k. Like, there's so much money this year. I don't think the 30k makes a difference at all. Like, sure, you'll look down the track and there'll be a trade you can't quite afford, but yeah, I feel like that's just such an anomaly. But Stewart, like, Bradley will drop out when they've got their players back, so he won't become an AE problem. He'll drop out. He'll be good enough. He'll be a good loop opportunity. Jed Stewart, though, he's won the spot now. Tamale's gone for the season. Stewart is going to keep the spot, all things going well, and his scores have been bad. Like, he scored a couple of tries both weeks, or one try both weeks, and he's only got like 40 odd points. Like, sure, maybe he gets more points, but the problem is you're not going to play him over your other center wingers, and then on top of that, so you're not going to get the good scores. Maybe, like, if he makes a bit of cash, you'll eventually be able to trade him to somebody else, but, like, yeah, I don't know. I would rather just take enough, or Bradley. I just prefer Bradley. I do prefer Bradley. Preston, I mean, I like Preston. I just can't go him. I mean, I've got Kickout now. I don't want to have both doggies back rowers. And also the fact that I started with Preston and traded him out, it just, I'm tilted. I'm tilted that he's literally gone so good. I mean, again, he did get that suspension in the mix as well. I would have traded him out anyway, but, like, he went fucking, oh my god, he went 49, 66, 47. Didn't look like touching the ball in attack. Like, he was getting literally zero football. And look at the draw. He took on the Dragons, Titans, Para, three of the worst teams in the comp, and he didn't look like scoring well. And they're that was the best draw. So I was like, fuck, they're taking on the Sharkies in round 4, trade him out. Bangs out 122. 122, 70, 88, 62, 92. Then he got his suspension, came back, scored 52. So I was like, oh, that's good, a bit better. But then he banged out 90 against the fucking Penrith Panthers. But I can't believe it still. The 3 fucking rounds, dude. But it is, I would have traded him out anyway when he copped that suspension. But boy, he had some good scores. He had some good scores. KO Weeks, I also don't particularly like. I mean, the Raiders do have a very good run coming up, which, yes, makes sense, but he's so up and down. Like, he'd be a frustrating watch. Like, he's got 3 tons, and granted, the tons are like, they've come more lately, but, 2 tons pretty close. But then in between the third one, 25, 45, 24, 39. Like, that's really bad. And again, some really good matchups. Like, South 24, Tigers 39. So, like, you can't really rely on the matchups for him. He scored 100 against the fucking Storm. So, yeah, I don't know. If he was, like, your number, like, 5'8's still a bit of a fucking cesspool. So if you're taking a punt on him as your 5'8" I don't hate it, because you just ride the highs with the lows. You just get his average at the end. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I probably do prefer like Ezra Mam. I think Mam's looked really good. I think his base is better than Weeks. And yeah, if the Broncos attack keeps humming, then Mam can definitely get some decent points. Connor Tracy is a crazy pickup. I can't believe people. Tracy. People are so fucking. It's so funny watching like people flip on a dime with players, bro. Tracy. It's so funny. He went through this like literally like 4 or 5 weeks ago, right? Like he had some. He was pretty damn solid at the start. He had a couple of low scores, couple of big scores, and then people were like, "Oh shit, Connor Tracy, centre wing eligible, playing fullback. He's at a pretty good price." Then he's gone 27. He would have been one of the more traded in around 10, 11, 27, 18. Absolute shockers. So everyone would have jumped off. Everyone would have been jumping off. He also had the bye in 13, so he shit bye. People would have jumped off, and then he's gone 68, 75, 91, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, Connor Tracy, he's back. I mean, granted, yeah, I mean, the scores are pretty good. Like, if you just held him, like, the average is pretty solid. It's weird that he has those low ones, because it feels like he has good base, but there's just some games, even when he just has some shockers, right? He has some shockers where he's got a lot of errors in him, but yeah, I don't know, that's pretty funny to me. Let's have a look at the actual like most popular trades live. So yeah, Metcalf to Hughes. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Lawson to Stewart. I mean, again, I don't understand that. Like, Lawson's enough. Like, yeah, I mean, sure, if you got a bunch of trades and you think Stewart's going to make enough cash to then trade him to another gun, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Metcalf, no one need to Waze. Hines to Hughes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly like the Hines to Hughes play. I don't really get that. Then you got Metcalf to Weeks and Mam, so yeah, instead of going, if they've already got Hughes, I guess they're still like, I need to trade Metcalf to somebody. Sure, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Don't love it, but it is what it is. I obviously don't know the exact right or wrong solutions here. Zarko to Noangani Tawaze, that's what I'm doing. Metcalf to Strange, I also don't particularly like. Tino to Jacob Preston. Again, if you've held Tino for the last couple of weeks, why would you trade him this week? Like, granted, he does have a 98 break even, and he's obviously on the bye playing Origin. He comes back against the Bronx. He'll probably back up and he'll lose a bunch more cash. But like at that point, I'm gonna probably bring him back in. Like you're literally trading him back. You're trading him out when I feel like a lot of people like myself who traded him out a couple of weeks ago are gonna look to get him back in like round 20. So just hold Tino. If you've held him this long, he's already lost a stack of cash. Just hold him for the season. Genuinely, I mean, the only concern is that sure, if he is busted after Origin and just never comes good, I mean sure, but like he's still gonna get like 50 points. Like he's not gonna be a dud. So yeah, I don't understand the trade of Tino. Just hold him. Just hold him. Yeah, and then bring in Tedesco. If you don't own, you definitely have to bring in Tedesco. Let's have a look. What about the top 1%? Okay, so this is a bit of a difference, isn't it? So yeah, the top... I was surprised you had no Kane Bradley. Yeah, everyone's going Jed Stewart over Bradley. I still think the Bradley play is better than Stewart. Yeah. That's all coaches, but the top 1%, there are more people going Bradley, Azarka to Bradley, Lawson to Bradley. Still Tino, even the top 1%, 51 people, 2.3%. It's not a huge amount, but again, I don't understand why you trade Tino at this point. And then Azarko to Nwangani Tawazu. So that's a big play. In the top 1%, a lot of people are doing the Azarko to Mark. Olakawatu, I guess if you held Olakawatu, yeah, you definitely have to get rid of him. I mean, I held Olakawatu a bit longer just because there were other issues. Tino to Kickout, again, just surely there's another player to trade. And then Hines to Hughes, Hiroti to Bradley, fair enough. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. So, yeah, there's not much else to say. I still, like, everything else is locked in. The only decision, if I'm going to go keep it on Bradley, or if I just going to hopefully save a trade further down the line. And I definitely could do that. Well, I don't know. I gotta think about it. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.